Good afternoon. Now, I made an observation since I've been here. Since I'm going to talk basically about a more cultural perspective, in the black church, we have this thing called call and response. And a few people got up and said good afternoon or good morning, and you could, Now, that's not acceptable within black culture. All right? When I say good morning, you give a response, and that gives me energy to talk about what I need to talk about with you. All right? Just so I'm going to familiarize you with a little black culture and a little black history. All right? And might make your work go a little bit lighter. What's that saying? Many hands make the work go light. All right? We're a group that actually started out here at Harvard. I worked with Shad Meshad in the Operation Outreach Vet Center program here in Boston. Was a part of a group called the Black Veterans Working Group, which was a national group that was sent out to figure out why black veterans weren't coming in for services. All right? We know that Vietnam veterans were a little turned off with government. So the VA was there, and they had all these programs, kind of similar to what we're hearing now. Had all these wonderful programs, but they couldn't get them to come in. So the Vet Center is important to talk about because it was a paradigm shift. Right? We talk about cultural shifts. It was a paradigm shift. It was the first time the federal government decided to put storefront counseling centers in neighborhoods and communities as an enhancement to bring veterans in. All right? Now, I helped to get the national group to meet here at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, or the African American Studies Department. At that time, Professor Nathan Huggins was the head of the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, and those of you that might not be familiar with him, his scholarship was around the Harlem Renaissance, which followed on the tail end of what they called the New Negro movement. And for you that are not familiar with the New Negro movement or the Harlem Renaissance, that was led by black veterans who came back from World War I and were saying no to the lynchings, the racial violence, the mistreatment of black people in this country. It is a precursor to the modern day civil rights movement of the 50s and the 60s. All right, this is what black veterans did back then. All right? And so we take from that proud tradition, and the seeds of the Veterans Braintrust and their relationship with members of Congress, particularly African-American members of Congress in the Congressional Black Caucus, who were a loud voice against the war, much like we see now in public opinion polls ever since this war started. African-Americans were the most verbal in not supporting the war. Now, that's a little bit of a, what people might say is an oxymoron. Because if you look at the statistics now, African Americans and ethnic minorities make up between 38 and 40% of the current force. And if we think about it a moment, we know that we've often heard that the military institution is the most equal opportunity institution in the country. The most equal opportunity institution in the country, way beyond the Fortune 500. Do we see African Americans and increasing numbers of women involved? All right? So we had a humble beginning here. We've been in business. We're probably the best kept secret in Washington. We do public forums every year and have been doing that for the last 25 years. And we practice what I would say is a little bit of social political therapy. It is not enough to tell your story to another person that can't help you. All right? When you're homeless and you tell your story to another homeless person, that might be peer dialogue, but the other person can't help you. He doesn't have any money either. We need to have relationships with our elected officials in Congress. We need to be there often and consistently giving them messages and recommendations around public policies that work. It's like the person from California, St. Louis Obispo said, bad design doesn't work. Bad public policy does not work. Now, you know and I know in the profession that you have that there is a lot of burnout, a lot of well-intended people going to great lengths to help people who have multiple problems, multidimensional and multifaceted problems. Why? Because they are round pegs functioning in square holes. We have public policies that do not meet the needs or provide the resources to help the people that we're invested in the most. So we are not a direct delivery of services group. We are a collaborating group that looks to identify where our interests overlap and refer them to you. I look forward to talking with you more because I have a particular project that I need your assistance with. I want to figure out how do we make community missionaries, how we deputize the community to help men and women who are coming back from war, their family members, their loved ones. I want to make them all deputies, ambassadors at the community level to, one, listen, as you've said here, listen, and two, connect them to services, whether they be community services or they be veteran services. Thank you, and I look forward to the rest of the day.